And then we have sugar, which is another thing that makes our bacteria, the bad bacteria, grow. And it creates candida, which is a bacterial overgrowth. And if you don't give it the sugar, it will sit down there in your intestine and say, give me food, give me food. We can't live without sugar. It's not easy. So there are many. Candida, of course, is one thing that creates depression, gut problems, yeast infections here and there, fungus nails, and sinus infections and headaches, many, many more. Many of them exactly the same as allergies.
Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome. Today I have on the show Dr. Ynge Ljung, and she is an author and a teacher known as the Master Medical Healer, easy for me to say, by her patients. And she's been treating allergies since 1998. She's an acupuncture physician, a naturopath, and a chemical engineer. So this woman is smart, y'all. She's got lots of smarts, and she is talking to us today all about allergies and getting to the root cause of allergies and how allergies show up in the body and what's actually causing allergies and what it actually takes to help heal yourself, this do-it-yourself process that she's going to talk about with her cutting-edge medical technology called the Allergy Kit, and how it's really been helping thousands of people since 2006, and what this looks like and how it's kind of putting together this science and spiritual pieces together to help heal your body of allergies. Super fascinating conversation. Let's jump in. All right, y'all, let's jump in. I'm here with Dr. Ynge, and we are talking all about allergies today. And the maybe not so common symptoms, or not so, I guess, thought of symptoms as allergies. Like Dr. Ynge was saying before we hit record, a lot of people think they don't have allergies, but some symptoms that they experience might tell us otherwise. I'm excited to jump into this today. Thanks so much for joining me today, Dr. Ynge.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yes. So I am so interested now, coming from someone who I grew up with terrible seasonal allergies. I mean, I was allergic to everything outside, and I got allergy shots for probably 15 years, which I think they have a better method now with the allergy shot situation. But anyway, I feel like I was on them forever. And it wasn't really until I dove into doing some deep gut healing that I was able to kind of heal myself. So obviously there's some links between, like gut health, that kind of thing, and allergies. But I would love to hear your take on really the root cause of allergies and where those stem from.
Well, if we have a perfect immune system, we will never get allergies, colds, cancer, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And where does the immune system start? In the gut.
In the gut, that's right.
And that's where we absorb the nutrients from the food that we can absorb. If we have any kind of allergies or sensitivities, the body can't absorb them.
Mm-hmm.
And it further affects the immune system. So there are so many things that are together with the gut. First of all, what we eat.
Mm-hmm.
Wheat. It's sad to say, but wheat has many proteins. One of them is called zonulin, and that creates holes in the intestinal lining, which makes undigested or partially digested food go out in the bloodstream. And that creates antibodies and then allergies. So I'm sure you have heard people who first have some allergies, and then all of a sudden they say, I can't eat anything.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why. The other protein that is detrimental in wheat is gluteomorphin, which makes it habit-forming. And that is why it is so hard for people to go off of wheat.
Interesting.
And I think if we didn't eat wheat 4 times a day or more, because people eat wheat for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, in between.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, wheat is not prepared as it used to be.
Exactly.
A long time ago, the baker came in at 2:00 in the morning and set the dough, let it grow, put it down, worked it again. So it was worked on several times before they put it in the oven.
Yep.
Now they have the bread ready in 2 hours. So, for example, if you eat sourdough bread, at least has less of the gluten because it is fermented.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's not only allergy to gluten, it is as much to the wheat itself because it's so toxic, sprayed with Roundup.
Glyphosate, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we have sugar, which is another thing that makes our bacteria, the bad bacteria, grow. And it creates candida, which is a bacterial overgrowth. And if you don't give it the sugar, it will sit down there in your intestine and say, give me food, give me food. We can't live without sugar. And it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many. Candida, of course, is one thing that creates depression, gut problems,
Yep.
yeast infections here and there, fungus nails, and sinus infections and headaches, many, many more.
Yeah.
Many of them exactly the same as allergies. So
Mm-hmm.
I call sugar addiction an allergy, even though that might not be the correct way to say it, but we often crave what we are allergic to. And I mean, sugar it's also so close to the reaction in the brain is so close to cocaine.
Right.
So if you look at brains, one brain is without anything, one brain is with cocaine, one is with sugar. The sugar and the cocaine, they look almost exactly the same.
Right. Right.
So it's very hard for people to go off of it. And of course, you can't just do it in one take. It's
right. Overnight. Yeah. It's a process. Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to talk about a few other maybe symptoms. Headaches and migraines are very, very common, and they are reactions. They are allergic reactions. I've had patients who have been going from doctor to doctor, even taking an MRI of the head because they had foggy thinking and headaches, and they never found anything. But eliminating the allergies takes care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we have aches and pains. I, as an acupuncture physician, I look at where people have a pain. If it is, for example, on the shoulder or arm, or these are all digestive meridians, the gallbladder, large intestine, stomach, small intestine. So then that's why when I started to treat allergies 25 years ago, I added that to the acupuncture, and people said, "Well, but my knee that hurts." Yes, but I had better and faster results when I added the allergy elimination.
Interesting.
And that I started, after I had a patient who only used to come in once or twice a year for his neck. And one day he crawled into my office with the help of a companion who had driven him to my clinic. He had a sciatica attack. I did 4 different treatments on him. Nothing helped. And normally that goes away pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me to ask him if he was drinking coffee. He said, "It's funny that you say that, because this was in January. It was cold, about 65 degrees. And my boss gave me a double Cuban coffee. 2 hours later, he turned around to pull down a box and got stuck. I treated him for an allergy to coffee, and within 5 minutes, his pain was gone.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So that's how I started to use it on all my patients.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
so
then,
go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead.
And then we have kids with on the spectrum or with autism that started to come into my clinic. And I really didn't know much about that 23 years ago. And I had heard of ADD, ADHD, and they were starting to put these kids on medications. What it is when they have their temper tantrums or meltdowns or their behavior, so-called behavior problems, is really that they have an allergy reaction. And people often don't know that. And it can be from food. It can be from smells. It can be from somebody passes them with a perfume on, or it can be cleaning products. It can be anything that they can have a reaction to. So going to behavior classes or behavior therapy. If they don't eliminate the allergy to whatever it is,
right,
it's very hard,
right,
because it's not their fault.
Right. It's not really the root cause. Yeah. And I find that so often I want to touch on that, but I want to back up for a couple other things that you said, because that was going to be the question I was going to ask you before you started saying that. It was about the ADD and ADHD thing, because I find that part fascinating. But as far as symptoms that, like, you know, in a typical adult, because like we were talking about before I hit record, there's so many things that people don't realize are symptoms of allergies. Because you said people like, I don't have allergies, but they have all these other symptoms. So how does, and I'm especially curious, since we're going to be talking about ADD, ADHD, autism thing, I'm especially curious about how this shows up in adults in terms of like mental or emotional, I guess, mental, emotional health issues, how allergies show up in those areas.
Well, I think first of all, they have gut problems, because as children, they have very, very sensitive digestive systems. And since the parents or even the doctors don't really know, they don't tell them not to give them wheat or not to give them sugar, or the parents, which I have seen also several times, the parents say, no, why would I let him scream? It's much better for me to give him
what he wants,
and be in peace. They don't think about the future. So if they don't take care of that so that they can heal their gut, it's very hard. And I think it turns into depression when they get older. And also, I think a lot of them, they are put on medications.
Right.
And it's not in the head.
Right. It's just a Band-Aid for that.
They are looking in the wrong place.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is what's leads me to my next question, because that's what I wanted to, I've had, a while back, I had a gal come on, and she specializes in specifically autism, but ADHD, ADD, but about kind of the gut-brain connection. And we kind of talked about that. We didn't talk about allergies, but she did talk a little bit about diet and stuff like that. But it's fascinating to me how so much research has come out about the gut-brain connection, right? Like it's science, but yet so many doctors and practitioners aren't addressing that with these kids with ADD, ADHD, and autism. And that's the girl who came on. She basically like helped her son go from like being completely nonverbal to functioning as a normal teenage boy through addressing his diet, and no other doctor practitioner, like she did it all on her own. So I guess, can you speak to that and how this missing piece of like allergies, allergic reactions, how that's affecting kids with things like autism, ADD, ADHD?
Absolutely. You can take any kid, normal kid, and give him sugar. I know with my own grandson, my youngest grandson, he was 6 years old, and we went to
Stoneworks, the ice cream place. Yep.
And he had 2 spoons of ice cream, and he started, these shops are very long and narrow, and he started to run up and down.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't take much.
and if you look at parties, with birthday parties, for example, with children, whether they are on the spectrum or not, it's chaos.
Oh, yeah.
After a little while.
It's a zoo.
And there were some videos out few years back where they compared a group where they gave them the normal stuff, colored and wheat and sugar,
Right.
and then another group where they had all natural food, where they had made sweets with fruits and stuff.
Right. Right.
And how that group played with each other, while the other one were aggressive and were fighting and screaming.
Wow. Interesting.
So if we could get parents and doctors to understand the connection, I think more and more they are, because I talk to several, because I have a kit for autism. And I often talk to the mothers, they call and ask questions. And some of them are incredible what they are researching and looking up with food. And so there are, I think, there probably is a group that really tries
Right, for sure.
to do the right thing. And then, of course, then there are things they think it's healthy. We can take kids on the spectrum, they are recommended not to eat wheat. So they start to eat almond flours instead. Almond flour, not flowers. And most of these kids are allergic to oxalates, and there are plenty of oxalates in
almonds. Yep.
And I don't think either that they are peeled, because there is some
right.
enzyme that's not good for us that they, if they take at least take the skin off.
Right.
But the oxalates, they react to that. So it's very hard for a parent to know what to do. What is the best thing? Okay, this is supposed to be the best thing. It may not be.
Right.
Because most, as I said, most of these kids, they are allergic to the oxalates.
Right.
And this also happens with people who start to drink green drinks because that's so healthy. And they put down a ton of kale and spinach.
Right.
Also full of oxalates.
Yep.
And then they don't understand, why don't I feel better? I'm doing all the right things. So there are many traps.
Yeah, that's true. And that's such a hard one. So do you find that there is a connection a lot of times between the oxalates and allergies?
Yes. So with oxalates, they can become also agitated. They get red ears and red cheeks. That's a typical reaction.
Interesting.
So it's, I always recommend that really everybody should. I should too. Write a food journal.
Yeah.
And then you write in the morning how you feel. Well, did you sleep well? Did you wake up during the night? At what time? And then in the evening you write down everything you eat, even if it's chewing gum.
Right.
And by the way, I'm going to say that now because otherwise I forget. I listened to a long seminar and I forgot the doctor's name. It's a woman doctor who has done research on gut and COVID and the jabs. And what she found, I thought that was very, very interesting, that people who have had COVID or the jab have no Bifidobacillus bacteria.
Interesting.
So I'm saying this now because everybody should go and get enzymes and probiotics and enzymes.
Yeah. And it's specifically that strand?
Specifically, that strand is just gone. And
Interesting.
They do not know why.
Huh.
And it's extremely important.
Yeah.
So just a tip for everybody. If you have had COVID or the jab, go and get your enzymes.
Yeah, that's a good tip. That's a great tip. That's interesting.
Yeah, because many people don't, they feel bad and they don't know why. And this could be the reason.
That's true. I mean, there's so many, the long COVID thing is such a thing right now. I've had a lot of clients and friends like message me and helping them, which, there's multiple factors, but that could be a big factor that people could.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when we're looking at, I want to talk a little bit about the allergy kit that you have, because you're helping people kind of heal themselves, right, from this. And so I guess, can you talk a little bit about the allergy kit and how you're helping people overcome their allergies?
Yes. So I have a I don't think it's quite a full kit. This is the kit.
Mhm.
It comes with vials and a laser, a cold red laser. The vials are homeopathically imprinted.
Mhm.
Homeopathy means like cures like. So if you have a frequency on the first vial, the first 7 vials are included in every kit. So I have one kit that's called the Allergy Kit. It only has the first 7 vials plus a stress vial. So the first vial contains the energy from egg, chicken, milk, vitamin C, and parasites. And the reason is that because I sometimes have vegans, they say, I don't eat meat. I don't eat that. But we are animals and we came from an egg. That's the reason. We need to be able to absorb the basic protein.
Right.
When we are born, we get milk. When we start to eat vitamin C. And we are warm-blooded animals. We all have parasites, like it or not. I mean,
that's true.
Now with all the news with the microbiome, I mean, people are starting to understand
that for sure.
That we are just a host.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So by treating with because everybody, I have met one person during 25 years who didn't have any allergies or sensitivities.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Born in Bahamas or one of the islands, and grew up in the boonies, no vaccinations, no pesticides or herbicides.
Right. Eating whole foods.
Everything was made at home or grown at home, even piglet and chicken.
Yep.
And so he is the only one I met. So
that's crazy.
So by treating this with the frequencies in here, it's the same frequencies you have inside of you. And using a laser, I don't know if you can see it. So it's you start, as a matter of fact, you start with a Q-tip that you lightly lick på and you put it over your belly button. And then you put the vial number 1 or whatever you're going to treat. You always treat with vial number 1, and then you go through the 7. And you also use a stress vial with it. Whatever we have, if it's a cold or whatever, every cell in our body is under stress.
Right.
So you treat these 2 together, you put them over the belly button too, and you can hold them with your pants, the resort or not a resort, what's that? Whatever it's called that holds it. And then you shine the laser first over the belly button, then over the head, the ears, you go back to the belly button, and then you repeat it, and the ears, and you end up on the belly button. That is the treatment. And when I treat somebody in the office, and of course I muscle test, and they are always weak in the beginning and strong afterwards. Sometimes you have to break it down. I had one girl, her mother didn't want to do the treatment herself, and she lived fairly close, so she came to my office. And this poor little girl, she had her 4th birthday while she was in treatment with me. She was covered from top to toe with eczema.
Oh, poor thing.
Itchy, ugly eczema.
Oh.
So I first treated her for the first vial, and she was strong when she left. When she came back a week later, she was weak. I treated her again. The 3rd time she came back, she was weak again. So I treated her, so I broke down what is in this vial. So I broke it down to egg yolk, egg white, chicken, milk, and vitamin C. She was strong on everything but chicken. And the mother said, oh, that's almost all I give her.
Oh, there you go.
So I treated her for only chicken. And I said to the mother, please don't give her any chicken for a couple of weeks and come back. And when she came back, she didn't have one spot on her.
Wow, that's crazy. So that was going to be my question. You kind of just answered it there when you're, doing these tests, or people are doing, because it's a kind of do-it-yourself thing, right?
Yeah, so it's not, it's really a treatment.
Right. That was my question. So when you're treating, do people, the things that they're showing up, like whatever food or whatever it is that's showing up, is this something that they have to get rid of forever? Is this a temporary thing? How does the treatment work?
No, so the treatment normally, of course, everything is not for everybody.
Right.
But I have less than 5% returns.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. So
and you've been doing this a long time.
I've had the kit on the market since 2006.
Wow, that's amazing.
So what was the other question?
If it's a forever thing, if they have to get rid of this things forever, yeah.
So sometimes you do one vial once, that's it. And when it comes to the second treatment is for sugar. And since sugar is in everything, I recommend that they repeat it like once a month. With sugar, if you have sugar cravings and you treat with this and the sugar cravings don't go away, you have to repeat it. Sometimes people have to repeat it several times.
Mm-hmm.
I had one client once, or a patient, who she was overweight, but she did not have diabetes. At that time, I wasn't so much into blood sugar, so I didn't know that what her blood sugar was. But she had on both sides, she had type 2 diabetes. I think I treated her 7 times.
Wow.
Before she cleared.
That's crazy.
I think she avoided becoming diabetic later.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's why you treat it if a couple of 2 or 3 times, and then you go on to the next treatment, which in my kit is toxins. Babies are born with up to, some people say 500 toxins and chemicals in their umbilical cord, which is scary.
Yeah.
4 is for vaccines. It's child vaccinations. I also have vaccinations for military people, for example, because they get a lot. And vial number 5 is for sugar again and candida. And number 6 is for grains. It also has corn, even though corn is not a grain, but it works. And the corn is really, if people have to eat corn, it has to be organic.
Organic, yeah, for sure.
GMO and so many toxins in it.
Yep.
And then number 7 is a mixture of the first 6 plus organs and endocrines. That's the basic kit.
Okay.
And then I have for foods, for environmental, for emotions. And then I have what I call the starter kit, really, for autism.
Autism, yeah.
And on the spectrum, because ADHD or ADD, it's the same thing, it's allergies.
Right.
I had a patient once, an 11-year-old. His mother was desperate. She did not know what to do. She was a teacher at the same school as he was in a special ed class. And he was always behaving so badly with both teachers and her and his peers. So she was ashamed. And when she came to my office, because I do muscle testing, and he kind of looked at me. It was almost as tall as I'm about 5'9". And then I tested him. I think with the sugar, it was just like, and his face, his chin fell down here. He could not understand that I could. And I think after the first 3 treatments, he changed. And when he was finished, 3 months after he started the treatments, he was back into normal class. After that, he was in honor class.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't his fault. It was something he was reacting to.
Right. And for those that are listening, and I'm familiar with this, but can you explain, for those who may not know what muscle testing is, can you explain what that is?
Okay. When you have, maybe the easiest way to explain this is everybody can stand up. Just stand up, relax, and either put your hands on your chest or down the side, and kind of close your eyes or half close your eyes if you are afraid of falling. Take a couple of deep breaths and relax, and then ask for a yes and see where the body goes. It should go forward. And then you ask for a no, and the body should go backwards. And if you would take sugar, for example, and you hold it and you will say, is this food good for me? It most probable your body will go backwards. It will go away from the food that are not good for you. And if you have something else, it's good, you will go forward. So it's something you can do even when you go shopping. Even though I don't recommend that you buy processed food or things in a box. If you buy things in a box, there should never be more than maximum 4 things.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it comes up with it has all these other things, put it back on the shelf. You do not know what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many hidden changed names. You don't know what it is.
Right.
That's your first responsibility. So that's one way of doing muscle testing. And then you can do what we call the O-ring.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just try, you can hold your finger. Don't hold them hard. Hold like this and say, block, release, block. Just to start, to practice how that is. And then you can say yes, no, and develop it. Start to just get used to it. Because in the beginning you will say, no, I don't trust myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a habit. It's easy, but it has to do with trust.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I love the muscle testing. Are you familiar with the emotion code? Do you know about the emotion code?
I'm a certified
facilitator. Yeah.
Emotion and body code practitioner.
I love that. And that's what I was going to ask, because it's basically all built around, muscle testing. And I know a lot of other holistic practitioners too that practice, acupuncture like you, or holistic nutrition. They use that to help their clients. So I love that that's included in how you're doing this with the Allergy Kit. So
I often, if somebody wants a session, they can get sessions with me with body code.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. I love that.
Coaching.
Yeah, that's perfect. So for those, as we're kind of wrapping up here, for those that are listening, and obviously the first answer is going to be to go get one of your allergy kits. But for those that are listening, that now that we've kind of gone through some of this and they're like, okay, well, I didn't think I had allergies before, but maybe I do. What would you recommend? Like, how would you recommend them getting started with starting the healing process for themselves?
Well, I think the first step would be to get a kit.
Mm-hmm.
And they can also get, if they go to drynge.com, drynge.com, you can schedule a free consultation.
Nice.
So, and there is also a download for what do you call that? A little
guide.
It's called 10 Surprising Facts You May Not Know About Allergies, which can also be useful to have.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if you want to ask questions first, that's totally fine. Because many people think it's woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
And this can't work. But think about telepathy, for example.
Right.
Or the phone rings and you know who it is before you look at the phone.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things that shows we are all connected.
Yep.
So it is, because, for example, the body code, of course, I do long distance.
Yeah, right.
And it just works.
Yeah.
And the energy and the laser is great. And you can also even use the laser if you have a little wound, or if you have somewhere, you can use the laser on that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always say that too, because I'm a Reiki practitioner, and people are always, because I could do it virtually, and if people have a hard time understanding that, like, energy doesn't have any bounds, or doesn't know time or space or anything. It's a hard thing for people to grasp. Like, well, how are we going to do Reiki if I don't live there? I'm like, you don't have to live. Like, energy is not. So it's, I totally agree with you. It's a hard thing for people to grasp.
Well, in Russia, for example, they have. When I started to study what was called then parapsychology in the 50s. I'm a little up there. And they already then had proven that telepathy worked. They put somebody in a totally, if it was stainless steel or lead or whatever,
right.
had people outside how they could communicate with each other. Drawing the same drawing practically. That's not exactly, crazy. But it was the same idea.
Wow.
So many years ago. And here in America, people are still doubtful.
Yeah, it is. The Western world has a hard time grasping or accepting things that they can't see, right? I think that's what it is. You can't see it, so it can't be true, which makes no sense because, like you said, I mean,
you can't see electricity either.
Exactly. I was going to say, the like right now we're talking to each other. There's waves of energy that are making this work. Like it's people just, it's a hard thing for people to grasp sometimes.
Yeah, that's also what I say, for example, with they say, how can you download this? Well, how can you download music?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's true. It's totally true. Yeah. I mean, I'm a believer. I'm with you 100%. Okay. As we wrap up here, I have one more question that I want to ask you. But you've mentioned before, but if you could just mention it one more time where people can find out more about you and the Allergy Kit and where they can kind of maybe schedule a consult and talk with you about all of this.
Yeah, so we have the drynge.com where you can book a consultation. You can download the free download, but you can also book a consultation if you go to theallergykit.com. There is on the top, you can click and schedule. And I am working, and not I, but I have people who work on my website because the menu is 3 white dots and the picture is with a person with a white sweater.
So you can't see it well.
It's very hard to see, but try to find that and click on the download. And you can, for example, look for instructions, click on the instructions, which are also being remade, but click on the instructions so you get an idea on how to treat.
Perfect.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Perfect. Of course, I have links to all that in the show notes, so I can go check that out and go check out the Allergy Kit and start to heal yourself. So I have one more question I want to ask you. What do you think is the most important thing you can do to live with purpose?
Love. Start loving yourself. Wake up in the morning, smile in the mirror, and say, I love you. If you think about how you meet people, how you see people, what happens when you smile to them? They smile back. Mm-hmm. And you may even save their day. Mm-hmm. And I think when you do that, you will find your purpose. Mm. It took me a few years because I've been an artist. I've been a popular artist. And I went to school when I was almost 54 years old. And that is now over 30 years ago.
That's amazing.
And I love what I do.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about retiring.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and that's what keeps you young and vibrant and alive. I love that.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ynge. This was so good. Thank you for sharing all of this. And I know you're going to get a lot of listeners reaching out to you and getting the Allergy Kit and starting to heal their bodies. I appreciate your time and for sharing all this with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's @TheHopePedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.